So the question is, how do I know if my glutes are even turning on while I run? And the truth is, it's really not so much in the glutes as it is in... How's it going, runners? My name is Justin Thompson. I'm your average running PT, and I help the average runner achieve their own personal elite status. If that's something you guys are into, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you know when the next video comes out. So I'm outside today. I apologize for any extra noise that may be out here, like some barking dogs on the other side of that fence, but we'll go ahead and jump right into this here. So again, the question is, how do I actually know if my glutes are activating while I run? And I had a lot of people asking me this question after I posted the video about glute activation for Kofuzi. So I figured I'd come on and kind of clarify something here really quickly. So when you're running, you really shouldn't have to focus that much on the glutes. And the reason is the glutes, they're a high endurance muscle. They are meant to go for long distances, and you really shouldn't be too concerned or too worried about whether they're activating or not. But I can tell you this, if your posture is not in the right position, then you are going to be putting your glutes at a disadvantage. So when you're running, you really shouldn't be thinking quite so much about what the glutes are doing, but you should really be thinking about what your posture is actually doing. Now, a lot of times when we talk about posture and running, a lot of times we're talking about, be up tall, pull your shoulders back, have your head facing straight ahead, and that's all up here. But what's going on below the waist? So that's something that is more important, in my opinion, when it comes to posture with running. So for me, the most important thing when it comes to posture is not actually what's going on up here, but it's actually what's going on in your core right in here. So I'm going to step back for a second and give some space so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So when you're running, in my opinion, the more important consideration for posture is actually what's going on from below your chest down to your hips. Okay, so when I talk about that, what I'm talking about is what's going on really here in your spine. So if we kind of go in this profile view here from the side, what I want people to be able to understand is for the glutes to activate properly, the hips need to be positioned in the correct position. So when I say that the hips need to be in the correct position, what I mean is I don't want you to have this anterior pelvic tilt where your hips are tilting forward. So if you think about your hips as a bowl and they tip forward, you're going to tip water out the front. Okay, so you want to be holding that bowl nice and level. So instead of your back being in this position here, you want your hips to be tucked in this way so that that bowl is nice and level and you're not losing the water out the front. So the reason that this is important is because if you end up with your hips tilted forward like this and you put this arch in your lower back, what you do is you compress these joints in your back called your facet joints. And those are there for a reason, but they're not necessarily there to accept a bunch of load repeatedly over time. So if you're running in this position, and every time you take a step and a stride and you land and you're putting a lot of stress on those facet joints, then you could put yourself at risk for a back injury. Also, what's happening whenever you're trying to push and extend through your lower back, you're taking all that stress through those lower back muscles and you're not using your glutes at all. So if you think about it, if you put your spine and your hips in the right position, now every time you extend out the back, you're having to actually engage your glutes in order to do that. So again, the most important consideration is maybe not necessarily whether you're working on extending or using your glutes while you're running, but think more about, are you engaging your abdominal muscles to keep your hips from tilting forward. So I hope that was helpful for you guys to understand that, whenever you're running and you're, quote, activating your glutes, you really shouldn't feel a whole lot. Again, the glutes are an endurance muscle. They should be able to work for a pretty good amount of time, and you probably won't feel a significant amount. Unless, of course, they're extremely weak, then yeah, as soon as you put yourself in that position and you start running for 3 or 4 minutes, and if you're able to hold that position, now you're using your glutes more, you might feel it a little bit more. So go on out there, try it, try and kind of put your hips into that position by engaging your lower abdominal muscles, and see if your glutes start to turn on and if they start to feel anything different. Now make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below if you liked what you heard here, and head on out there, seek your elite. God bless, and I'll see you next time.